that excites me based on where we're going. So everything has been shaken and shattered in order to wake us up. We are so loved that they're going to send in a powerful storm to shake us up. And if you look around, and many people, we say the same thing. There is a complacency, there is a resistance, there is a reluctance to opening to a higher consciousness. And take this last week to peel the sleepy crust away from your eyes and trust that all of the chaos in your life is in service for a deeper revelation of who you really are, for a deeper emergence of truth. Again, so that you can come to a higher level of health. The other evening, one of the gentlemen guests that I was in the company of, he repeated a couple of times he was going to live to 100, and when he got to 100, he was going to live to 125. And at the time, I thought, oh, well, that's a fine goal. And as I stepped away, I couldn't help but think, it's our destiny to live. Death is not necessarily the destiny, although it's become the destiny on this planet for most inhabitants. But it doesn't need it to be that kind of frequency. But in order to have this, just put down your uniform when it's complete, you need to really be in touch with your emotional body. You need to have made friends with all of the subconscious fears and terrors. And I wasn't 100% convinced that this dear soul had any knowledge of that, nor any appreciation of the idea that he should embrace that kind of knowledge. And that was simply an observation, just, good luck. I do wish him good luck. If that's your wish, I'd like to see him in his body at 100 and 125, robust and vital and filled with good health and good energy. The only way you get that is an open heart, not an open mind, an open heart. So that's how you get to, that's what the deeper revelations were all about. That's what was happening with all the polarity on the planet, all of the push and pull of, I hate this and I hate your candidate and da-da-da. Well, that did not lead to a deeper revelation. It led to a deeper separation and therefore death. Death is hidden in separation. And you can say, well, I didn't die. You didn't, but some of your cells did, which would then disallow reaching the ripe old age of whatever you want. So, the energy we are transitioning into is totally different. After the energy of the spectral, seeming chaotic energy, we are headed into, and it just sounds, so much gentler, we are stepping into the higher frequency of something called the yellow crystal seed year. That word crystal is such a relief from storm. So the energy of the crystal actually invites a higher order to descend. Now I've begun to contemplate, what the heck does that mean? So far, this is what I've gotten. Perhaps as you contemplate it, you'll reach other conclusions and insights and perceptions. So the higher order is a higher order of releasing. It's a higher order of thinking. It's a higher frequency, period. But then I took it a little further. Could it be that as we shift our frequency and indeed lighten up, we are easily connected once again, more fully, more visually, more knowingly with those entities who have attained the rank of a higher order. In a bit, it's kind of like in the military. There's the humble private and there's the 5-star general. At what point does that private reach a platform within his consciousness to not be intimidated and to be able to sit down and break bread with the 5-star general, have some belly laughs, and enjoy life? The span seems, for those of you who know anything about the military, almost impossible. They're not going to do that. They're lowly peons, spit on. Well, when your consciousness shifts, and if you've survived the storm, which you have because you only have a week more, I believe we actually can connect to this higher order. Yesterday in the blog that I sent out, you got to understand, there's no piece of that. There's nothing that I say or do that's kind of without deep thought and reverence and meaning. And so I stuck in there references to the material that I've been embracing that actually has been embracing me. And yes, it's of a high-pitched caliber. It's a very high frequency, but it may touch one of you. So it was no accident that those things were thrown in. And the book, The Initiation, it certainly tapped me into a higher order of beings, easily. So easily, it's almost humorous. With that, with my conscious decision to align and communicate with the higher orders, which means I will be given higher orders. Look at that, okay? But it does require a shift yet again in what I'm putting into my mouth and mind. So, mouth, I had the wonderful good fortune of finding someone down here who is very aligned to my energy, and she's in the healing arts. And she has strongly encouraged me to eat this, not that, don't do that, nope, that's not your friend, don't do that. So I have a whole list of things now that have been dropped, drop it. And I'm more cognizant of what do I look at and what frequency is it triggering in me. And for example, driving up here today at a red light, the car in front of me had pasted along the back of his back rear window the words bounty hunters. The words frightened me. And the frequency was so unsettling, I immediately thought, look away. Look at the building over there. Oh, isn't that lovely? Fine structure. I just didn't want to hold that frequency because I thought, what is this dear soul up to? And how many people is that affecting? Because it did not have a good feeling, I'll tell you that. So, crystal energy is the frequency of what we call complex stability. So it's going to be up to you to find things that stabilize you and keep you in the present. The crystal frequency focuses on cooperation and wholeness. It's the power of cooperating, and cooperating, number one, with our own higher wisdom, meaning our own conscience. How often does your conscience flick you on the forehead and you give it a swat and tell it to leave you alone? That you're not interested. And I've seen many people recently give it a swat. It's like, don't tell me. I'm like, okie dokie, that's your job to get up your mountain. The power is about learning how to become a conscious instrument of the higher order. A conscious instrument means that's what this year was about, letting it all go so that you're an empty reed, so that this higher magnificent frequency just can move through you and give out a lovely fragrance, unmitigated beauty. You become like a fine-tuned Stradivarius. It's also about the power of cooperating with one another in community. So those of you who are busy thinking, well, I'll cooperate with Tom, Dick, and Harry, but not, such and such and such. No, you're going to have to drop that in this next week so that you can step into this lovely crystal frequency, very light. So it's all about collaboration, cooperation, and bringing through a positive synergy. It's about learning to perceive your life like a living mandala. I don't know if any of you have ever seen or worked with the mandalas. They're exquisite. They radiate out energies and frequencies like ley lines and power lines. And every ray or spoke of this mandala is showing you that's lovely, but they're all interconnected, making a whole. With the object here to be like a wheel. So as you attune to these magical rays within yourself, you can go on a journey into a whole new domain of higher form, higher frequencies, therefore higher possibilities. This crystalline energy calls you to welcome this higher order. If you're going to be scaredy cat of the higher order, I think we need a little more storm in your life. It's time we embrace the light. It's time we get back to the essence of us, the light. It's not outside of you. It's been hidden quite nicely inside of you for a few thousand years, which is why it's a little bit tricky for us to pull it up and out now and honor it. But it's the cycle to do that. The power now is to align with the crystalline clarity of your own heart and allow your heart to guide you. People have shut down their heart. They've been working through the mind on this planet. And you see the difference very easily. You can see it in a person's talk, in their speech, in their posture. And when they're operating through the mind, that was all well and good. It brought us to a certain point in our evolution. It's just that, quite frankly, that cycle is over. And as you begin yet again, without any airy-fairy, new age, gobbledygook, sending you light and peace nonsense, you're going to show up more fully in your life. You're going to appreciate you. You're going to do you properly, without narcissism. You're going to rest and treat the temple with the respect it deserves. I came across a fascinating piece of information this week. Your body is a consciousness. People treat their dogs and cats better than they treat their body. It's a living, breathing consciousness. And that set me on a whole different opening up of, body. I am going to really be much more conscious and appreciative of you and take better care of you. And I will take you for a walk, and I will give you the right nourishment and the right water. I will do that. You're conscious. You're living. Because as I do that, I am of better service, not only to myself, but to anybody who's sitting with me, to anybody